Hello, viewers. This is David Hoffman, filmmaker, and I'm doing this interview with a woman who I've known off and on for 49 years.
Joining us now, a woman who counts herself and her clients as First Lady Nancy Reagan, Hillary Clinton, Laura Bush. Ann Hand is here. Ann, thanks so much for being here. There's the eagle right there.
Made in America.
How about that?
I'm very touched by what she's doing. Women get a chance to be powerful because of what Ann is doing. Look at this one. Do you believe these things? Important women are wearing them. Important women are coming to her little shop in the back of her home in Bethesda, and they're buying them and they're wearing them proudly.
It is a patriotic way of demonstrating that we're all Americans. There may be political differences in Washington. We may not all get along all the time. But when it comes right down to it, the most important thing that any of us are trying to do is to make our country a better place.
Cindy McCain also wore it when her husband, Republican presidential candidate John McCain, won the New Hampshire primary in February.
I felt like that the eagle pin was not only representative of what we were doing and what we had pursued throughout the campaign, but I like it.
Your daughter and you send me this. And what it says is one country, one destiny. And that's extremely important to me. I gave it to my wife, who's worn it ever since, every single day, because the whole democracy survives on that statement. I am so proud to have this. Why did you make this pin? And what do you feel about one country, one destiny?
When I first read that, it moved me so deeply, and it came about because Ford's Theater here in Washington, D.C. asked me to do something for them, and the thing they wanted me to do was a replica of something that was embroidered in Abraham Lincoln's overcoat, and he wore this overcoat at Ford's Theater the night that he was assassinated. And when they took him to the rooming house across the street, one of the doctors, of course, had to remove his coat. And in it, they saw an eagle, and embroidered under the eagle was a favorite saying of Lincoln: one country, one destiny. The country seems fractured, and you've been around a long time. In fact, I know you're older than you look. Are we going to survive this thing? I just believe that in the heart of most Americans, they love this country so much, they're not going to let it just disband and blow up, or everybody really going their own way. I don't think that. I don't think it will have a civil war. I think we're getting close in some areas, but we're going to survive. I firmly believe that. You make jewelry largely for women, and your jewelry is large. Do you see anything important about that symbol? I mean, the size of it. I wanted for it to be noticeable. I didn't want just a little man's lapel pin. I noticed that our presidents all usually wore a flag or something, but it was small. And so when I started out making this jewelry, and I did not start out to make American symbols. Actually, I think you were the one that unwittingly named my collection of American, symbols. But I started with the eagle that you showed earlier. And the reason I did that eagle was one night we were at the White House for dinner. This was when my husband, Lloyd, was the U.S. Chief of Protocol. And after dinner, President Lyndon Johnson invited us all into the foyer and where the Marine Band was playing. And we were all to dance. And it was a lovely event. But I looked over, and the Marine Band pianist was playing at this gorgeous Steinway piano. But the legs of the piano were the American eagle that you were holding up a while ago. And I love that. Then I started looking around Washington, and that particular eagle was on a lot of buildings. And so I thought, I'm going to start with that eagle and let's see where we go. And that was the beginning, really, of my first American symbol.
You've known a lot of famous women who've worn your jewelry. Do you know why they're wearing it? What is it doing for them?
One time I remember Alma Powell, who's a good friend, and I love Alma. I was hoping her husband would be president someday, but that didn't happen.
I refer to the eagle as the Ann Hand sorority pin. I may have gotten one of the first eagle pins that was made. It captured people's imagination because it lets you reflect your own patriotism, your own pride in being an American.
And it goes beyond Republican and Democrat or independents, whatever you want to call it. And then I've heard others say it. And then we've been lucky that all the first surviving first ladies, and even some that are now gone, wore the eagle. And I think they viewed it as a unifying symbol.
What do you feel about the American, I like calling it experiment. I like that because it's not certain, that's for sure. The American experiment, what do you feel about it as you design the things you're designing? They are like a flag. What do you feel about that?
Just a sense of love of country and wanting it to be something beautiful at the same time. But, you know, if I'm doing something for the Marines, I love to look at it. And as we're sketching it out and looking at all the colors and so forth, that it has to be perfect because it's going to be worn by members of the Marine Corps, their wives, their mothers, the widows. I've never analyzed it. It's just that I get into it and I get stories pop into my mind or people I've met that help me influence something I've done. I don't know. Maybe just being in Washington, D.C., and you're surrounded by everything that just shouts at you, America, America the beautiful.
If this is the last video you make, what would you like to leave as a legacy for the jewelry? Now, your legacy, sure, it's your children and your grandchildren, sure, but it's also this jewelry, which has a life of its own. It's in my wife's jewelry box and goes to our children.
I would like to think that I've made a difference. Sometimes, although I'm not a Betsy Ross, I like to think of what Betsy left behind, you know, her flag. And so maybe 50 years from now, when people are looking at some of those symbols, they will remember that a Texas girl with not a whole lot of education, but a beloved husband, incredible children, that I was able to do something to glorify this country. Maybe that seems kind of simplistic, but that's more or less, I guess, how I would feel.
So this is the latest pin, and it's the heart and soul of America. And it says, may the eagle clutching the heart remind us that no matter our differences, we hope, as President Lincoln once said, to be touched by the better angels of our nature. That's just beautiful, guys.
Oh, David. Well, this one, we're so excited. This is coming out this Sunday in a major newspaper. We took out a big ad because we really think that's a wonderful thing for Americans to think about. Well, what that eagle that you're looking at right now has 252 tiny little pearls in there, if you can look and see. And then it has in just a plain gold eagle. But the idea is we are the soul of America. And I thought this is a great time to really finish this pin.
I want to thank you for doing this. I want to wish you luck for the next 20 years. Knock on wood, please. Can you knock on wood somewhere down there?
Yeah, oh, knock on wood.
Knocking on wood.
All right.
David,
And, good luck.
thank you. I need it so much. And I appreciate you talking to me and giving me this time to talk to my wonderful American friends out there. God bless you.